Hello and welcome to my personal project, the A52 Transport Ship. My name is EctoSage, also known as Joe, or maybe it should be the other way around. Anywho, this is my ship. It's, I should say this is my ship so far. And, I figured I'd put out a little video of that because Sage does stand for Sleep, Art, Game, and Eat. And guess what? This is a form of art. It's 3D art. So, here's my ship. I'm going to give you a quick tour of it, and maybe I'll make another video in a few weeks when this is a bit more done. So let's start here. I should have just started recording here, but whatever, we're here now. That's the airlock door. None of these textures, let me point that out. Absolutely none of these textures are final. They're just sort of a placeholder metal that I figured I'd slap on everything with like semi-glossy sheen to it all in the material editor. And this is in UDK, Unreal Developer Kit, I felt I should also say. And I have a little bit of simple emissive on the lights, but they're not actually what's lighting anything. I have two lights just randomly stuck around the world to light everything up sort of equally for the time being. So, here we are in the airlock. Got the big old door there that will, when it's done, hopefully slide up kind of in a, as if it was part of a big sphere. It'll just slide up and into the ceiling, sort of. We got these, which I want to put on glass there, and maybe have some spacesuits behind them. They're actually doors. You can see the hinges here, even though they're not showing up very well right now. Again, once textures are done and proper lighting's done, that'll look a lot better. And then, I'll get to that in a second. There is, this smaller hallway here. It's actually a lot smaller than this one here. It's a different piece with tiny walls. You might say, well, it's kind of pointless and bland. There's giant openings here, right? Well, that's because, oh yeah, no collision anyway. I'm just jumping for effect. But that's because I'm gonna have a set of different pieces, maybe 3, maybe 4 different pieces that I can sort of mishmash into each of these. So I'll have one that's about the size of this window opening here. And I'll have 3 of them, I should say, and I'll just sort of like, I'll put, type 1 here, and here, and here, and then type 2 here, and here, no, here, and then type 3 will be here, here, and then here. So it'll be sort of unique throughout this whole room. And then I'm going to do the same thing for here, except for on one of these, I have to figure out how I'm going to build like a doorway blocker. Because then it leads into this, which was the thing that was sticking through here. It's the cargo bay. And I haven't come up with any like basic model really for that. At least like a tier 2 basic model. So it's just like the very, very basic, general proportions. It'll be a bit smaller up here so it doesn't clip through the wall. And it'll have another big door. I'm not sure how these will open. Maybe they'll swing outwards. Maybe they'll sort of go up onto the ceiling and inside the room instead of in the ceiling itself. I don't know. But this will be a 2-story room connecting up with a 2nd floor. And I think it'll be fairly interesting when it's all done. Now down here at the end of the ship, which is actually the front end of the ship, I should say, not the back end, is it's a little communications array access. Again, textures not final, UVs not final. UV is like skinning an object if you don't know. So I haven't properly skinned this yet for what I want the material to be, because I'm going to start using, I just decided actually recently after playing some Dead Space 3 that I'm going to start using a lot more tiling textures, because originally I was going to try to make everything unique, and even though that could be nice, I think it would be a whole lot of work, to have a completely unique texture for everything, and also might actually turn out pretty bad, because these strange things here to UV them, to UV them and skin them properly, these weird shapes here to sort of flatten out that whole thing and then make a texture for that and then have it line up with the corners perfectly and all that. UVing that correctly could come into some trouble, and I might actually end up having to use multiple materials just for one object, and I really don't want to do that. So I'm not going to do that. But as I was saying, this is the communications array on the inside of the ship. On the outside, I'm going to have a big thing sticking out pretty far. But on the inside, I'm going to have a little screen here. These are a few different materials. So I'm going to have little screens here. They're going to be holographic projected, sort of like Dead Space. Again, I'm a big fan of that game. And then these blue things are going to be sort of computery bits glowing, and then the rest of it will be, tiling, metal, and stuff like that, which will be pretty cool, I think. Oh, also, ignore those little bits that are hovering. That's just part of the engine. I don't know why that's there. But in the center of this floor here, you see how it's a different piece. The floor actually is, if I come down here to the end, you'll see has a gap under it. There you go. You can see there's a gap there. I'm going to run pipes and stuff under there, and this thing here in the middle, that's actually going to be like a metal grate, so you'll be able to see down into it and see those pipes, so it should give this whole hallway a bit more, you know, it'll give it more feeling, give it more depth. There we go, that's the word I'm looking for. Lights there, lights up there, just felt I should point out those lights. I love how they kind of come and go as you run down the hallway. Kind of pointless, but yeah, I like it. It's my little ship. It's my little babby ship. Not, you know, like 4 days of fiddling about. This room here, though, is the elevator room, and also will lead to engineering. I'm going to have a doorway right here leading to engineering, and then right here, as you can see, I got a little cutout. There's going to be an elevator there and an elevator there. And then I'm probably also going to have like a small hidden, what do you call it? Access thing here, which will open up and you'll be able to get access to a ladder. And then over here, I'm probably gonna have some like lounging chairs, and maybe in this corner too. That way, you know, if your job is like maybe moving cargo around, and or you had to come down here to maintenance the communications array. Well, when you're done, maybe you just want to take a break, and you're gonna come in here and grab something to drink, sit down, and take a little break before you hop in an elevator and head up to another floor. And let's do that right now. So, I'm gonna open this. Gotta get rid of that little thing that showed up. There we go. When I said that little thing, I meant one of those. My keyboard's a bit funky. So, ghost makes you ethereal. Sorry, I can't speak. Now I'm gonna hover up to the next floor, and then what was it? Walk. Oh, got a little thing. There we go. And now I can walk around. As you can see, this is sort of an in-between floors, and the point of this floor is very simple. It's loading and unloading cargo, and to be exact, it's overwatching that. Now, inside of these cargo rooms, I'm planning, by the way, you know, there's just big flat collision planes for each floor, so I can't actually fall down there, but I'm going to try not to because it breaks my own immersion. So, for each of these, as I just jumped down there, for each of these floors, or for each of these cargo rooms, I'm thinking maybe a big crane thing. And so right here, as I said, they're going to be 2 stories tall. You're going to have like a little control room. We'll be able to control that crane. And then if you were to run down to the... Oh, god dang it. I need to stop doing that. To the end of this hallway, this is a little placeholder thing for a control room that I'm going to have, which is going to be much more hard edges instead of this sort of like gently sloped shape. And it's going to stick out of the ship, so I'll probably move this bit farther over. That way the airlocks are sort of further to the inside of the ship than these. But they're going to sort of look out, and when stuff's being loaded and unloaded, maybe the crane can somehow reach out and grab it and bring it in. So, this is where those controls will be as well. So, but that's about all that's actually on this floor. Down at the end of the hallway here, we have, you know, the player height thing. I basically made like a little funky square, rectangular thing with a slit in it for a sort of head height. So that's sort of like player size, so I can move that around if ever I need to check anything. But I also have one of those in Maya, which is a program I use to model all this, and yeah, that one I move around a whole lot more than this one, because I have a general idea of the size of everything in Maya before I bring it in here into UDK. So this floor, going up the elevator again. I hate that little thing. Oh, god dang it. Walk, there we go. Okay, so, top floor. Come up the elevator, get off lounge chairs and stuff, just like on the previous 2 floors, because I always want to have like a little break area on every floor. This one might just be chairs though, no drinks or anything, and it'll still have the ladder access to get down. But on this floor, boom, instantly you're like, wow, that's a strange big room. This is going to be the mess hall and relaxation area. And I just remember that name, mess hall. I was calling it the cafe or the caf. I didn't like that. It always reminded me of a school or some mess hall. I like that much more a ship name. So this will be the mess hall. It's probably be mainly food and stuff along the walls over here, and sort of all the stuff you need for that. And over here more of just chairs, sitting, relaxing, whatever. You know, maybe a few eating things here, but mainly over here. You know, like let's say a small table with like 3 chairs around it, another one there, and then over here will just be like a big couch thing here, and maybe like a few chairs and a table there for playing cards or whatever people on the ship might want to do. And everything will be very industrial and built into the floor or the ceiling or however I decide to set it up. So let's carry on. And now we're on to these rooms. And they're all placeholders, but some of them are actually named differently. Like this one here, I believe is called the restrooms. And this one's called general crew quarters, because there'll be like 2 to 4, maybe even more bunks in here, depending on how tight I want to make this area. where the general crew will be. Then this is their sort of restroom area, as I said, its name. And they'll have showers and restrooms, maybe multi-purpose, sort of like a urinal for a bloke will also turn into a shower for anybody. And then as we come along here, these ones, these last four here, are actually like higher member crew quarters. So you might have like the captain's quarters here, and it's first mate, and then I don't know. I'm thinking maybe head like navigator and then pilot, because they, they're going to be pretty important on the spaceship. You got to navigate well, and the pilot's got to do something, or maybe the main cargo guy. I don't know. Maybe it won't even matter, but they'll be there. I'm the art side of things. I can't figure out what everyone's position's got to be and who gets what room. They're there. Whoever runs the ship will just choose a spot. Okay, now I've come into here. Looking at it now, I actually think it's a bit small, so I'm gonna have to make this bigger. And this is the bridge. And as you see, I have this little drop down here thing. And actually, let's pop into ghost mode again. Here we go. Bingo bongo. Ooh, I hate that so much. Okay, so that's the bridge, and it's a bit small as I was noticing there. It doesn't seem too bad from here, but if I was to land, I hit any button and that thing shows up. It's annoying, but if I was to land, you're walking, you're like, oh, here's the bridge, this is pretty cool. Hey, oh, I'm already at the wall. Oh, okay, I'm here. So, I mean, I think forward it might be enough, but it needs to be a bit wider, I'm thinking, Just a bit wider, that way you can have maybe a control panel there for loading and unloading, and another one over here. And then you'll have, like, the pilot, maybe like main pilot and co-pilot. Maybe they'll share a room. I don't know. No, I don't think so. The co-pilot will just have to be a lower class, normal guy who also works unloading and unloading. And then don't know what I'll have more down there. Maybe just more controls for loading and unloading. And then captain will probably sit up here at some controls, or maybe even off to the side. That way the main hallway is always open. And then of course I still need to come up with some sort of doors for the ship, because right now it's just all connected in the same way, hallways. I need to come up with good, like, sealable doors, that way the ship can seal itself off, and the event that, an asteroid strikes it and rips this hallway in half, that door can close there, and all the rooms will, of course, seal off, and then this door can close here, that way the mess hall will still be safe. I nearly called it the cafe. Okay, so let's pop into ghost mode. Let's just give you a quick look at the whole ship. And you might be saying, it's a pretty squat ship, from back to front. It's actually fairly, cramped. Well, that's because it's got no engines on it yet. The engines on this are going to be these sort of big metal rails that are going to stick out probably to the whole left side of the screen. And I say metal, they're going to be like glowing energy things. And that's how the ship's going to propel itself. And engineering will be sort of built into the backside of them that connects to the rest of the ship. And I'm thinking the middle floor might need to come forward, but what purpose is there? So I don't know. The ship will change over time. But as you can see, so far, the only thing I got at all sort of modeled out is the bottom floor. And the other two are just completely placeholder. Anything with a checker is placeholder. But here's the ship so far. It's basically just, the bare bones skeleton of the ship. Still needs a lot of love. Even these things that I would consider done I'm not considering done, because they obviously still need to be re-UV'd and get some good textures on them. But I'm pretty happy with it so far. I mean, I think it's making good progress. So I'll leave you with one of my favorite camera angles so far in the ship. It looks like shitty 80s sci-fi, but there you go. And I'll see you all another time.